If you can't take the heat, stay out of the theater. What's up, guys? Steven from Noper Dope Reviews. I just got out of the theater and watched Wuthering Heights. If you checked out my Wuthering Heights trailer reaction, I gave it a dope. Now, I'm going to tell you if my movie review matched my trailer reaction. Is it going to be nope or dope? Wuthering Heights is, at its core, a story about obsession, love, and how deeply damaged people can shape and destroy each other. It centers on a passionate but volatile relationship that begins in youth and stretches across years, leaving lasting scars not just on the people involved, but everyone around them. Rather than telling a simple love story, Wuthering Heights leans into the messiness of human connection, how desire, jealousy, and pride can trap people in cycles they can't break from, even when it's clearly destroying them. Now, this is going to be my non-spoiler review of Wuthering Heights. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but I am going to go over some key points in the movie just to give you some context. One of the biggest things that stood out for me in Wuthering Heights is the casting of the younger version of Catherine and Heathcliff's character. Owen Cooper and Charlotte Mellenton do a fantastic job of bringing these younger characters to life, and that's a crucial, important part of this movie just to get you set for the rest of the movie, to get the emotional connection that's needed at the beginning, to hopefully have an emotional connection by the end of this movie. I'll get to that latter point later. When younger characters fully commit to their roles, you're just, as a viewer, fully committed and invested to these characters from the onset. It's crucial that you have that connection at the beginning. If you don't have that connection at the beginning, which these actors do a great job of doing, you're not going to have that emotional connection at the end. This is a movie about love, about passion. It starts off as kids and it moves on into their adult years. Without that emotional connection at the beginning, as I mentioned, it's going to be a tough ride for the rest of the movie. Now, what a lot of people are going to say that is, first and foremost, the first thing that probably stands out for them is the visuals in this movie, the cinematography. Everything is shot on location, so the texture, it feels lived. It feels like you're in a different time period. Just the lush landscape. You see Jacob Elordi riding on a horse across this beautiful plain, even sometimes on the background of a sunset. The film leans heavily into wide shots of rolling hills, harsh terrain, glowing nice sunsets, and those visuals do a lot to the storytelling on their own. This movie really is about the atmosphere that Emerald Fennell sets. This is very similar to Saltburn if you saw her movie from 2023, which is my introduction to her and the only movie that I've seen from her. This feels like a sister, a brother version of Saltburn, from the mansion, from the landscapes, from the acting, from the tone. This feels like her. She's already made a mark on me on how her directing style is, similar to what you see from Quentin Tarantino. He has his own style. Steven Spielberg, he has his own style. Emerald Fennell definitely has her style. She sets the tone for every emotional beat, every passionate scene, every dark, brooding, emotional, draining scene in this movie. This movie is very dark. I don't know anything about the book. All I know is what I've seen from the trailer, and the trailer really is selling what this movie is about. Now, does it completely sell it? I don't think so. Is it lying to you? No. Visually and tonally, this movie knows what it wants to be. It wants to be dark. It wants to be passionate. It wants to make you feel something, whether it's something you've expected or not expected. One thing I didn't expect from this movie that was also a positive is there is a little bit of comedy in this movie. And it's really needed because there are times where you're just sort of emotionally drained. You're going through this passion, this love, this lust. And having a little bit of comedy, a little bit of levity in this movie is well needed. It's a little bit jarring at first because you're not expecting it. But when you do get it, it's funny. And when you're needing it again, it comes again. And she does a good job pacing that out through the movie, which I was not expecting. And before I get to the main two stars in this movie, I want to go over Alison Oliver's Isabella Linton's character, who I just talked about comedy. She is the levity in this movie. And at first, I was a little bit taken aback. I wasn't sure how her character would play into this. Again, I don't know anything about the book. And if she's at all funny as she is in the movie, in the book, I would be surprised. I just wasn't expecting it. She is incredibly funny. She plays this character that's sort of annoying to Margot Robbie's Catherine's character. At first, I was like, oh man, I am not sure where this is going. And as I mentioned, the levity in this, the breaks of laughter, a lot of it come from her. And she's not just one big joke in the movie. There are some minor twists to her character that I wasn't expecting, that is really something that I wasn't expecting. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If it's in the book, I'll be surprised if it was. But she plays her character very well, very funny. She does a great job in this. Now to the main characters in this movie, and without doubt, without question, you know Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi were going to bring it in this movie, and bring it they did. Margot Robbie plays Catherine Ershaw, which is really the emotional core of the story. She's passionate, impulsive, and deeply conflicted. Someone who feels everything at full intensity. She loves fiercely, but she also is driven by pride and the need for control, which is constantly pulls her in opposing directions. Margot plays the gambit of emotions so well in this, from passion, from love, from jealousy, from hate. She even plays a part where she's a little bit cruel, where I wasn't expecting it. And when you get that turn from her, she does a really great job of making you not like her. And how could you not like Margot Robbie? I mean, come on, look at Margot. She's great in everything she does. And when she gets into this character that I just never seen from her since maybe Harley Quinn. I know that's probably a bad example, but I just wasn't expecting her to be cruel in this. But when she is, it's really effective. It really makes you feel uncomfortable. This movie as a whole is a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit jarring, and very weird at times. But Margot Robbie is an excellent actress, perfectly casted in the role of Catherine in this. You do feel sympathy, you do feel empathy for her character, because she does a great job of making you feel that raw emotion that she feels throughout this movie. This is by far Jacob Elordi's best acting performance ever. I saw him in Saltburn, I've seen him in Euphoria, but this is by far his best acting I've ever seen him in. Again, he also runs the gambit of emotions in this. There's hate, there's cruelty, there's love, there's passion. There's a part in this movie, second half, where his character makes a 180 turn that I was not expecting. Again, another twist in this that I wasn't expecting. Very jarring, very hard for me to connect with him. I don't know if the rest of the audience did. It sounded like they did. It just, maybe it's the context of me not knowing the book at all. And there's parts of this movie where you don't know how he came to where he became, because in the beginning he was this poor servant character, and then later on he comes back and he's rich and he has money and he's looking fabulous. You've seen it in the trailer, obviously, if you've seen it, especially in my trailer reaction. He's just this completely different character. He does a great job with his acting, with his turn in his character, but I just wasn't 100% bought in the character change. Maybe that could have been done a little bit better if we saw a little bit of what happened with him, and that's where the movie loses me a bit. I'll get to that in a minute, but Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff, great acting. You feel his emotion, you feel his passion, you feel his lust, and he does a great job. Before I get to what didn't work for me in this movie, there's one more thing I want to talk about when it comes to the musical score. There are many different styles of music in this movie, from almost upbeat ballads to folky type. It almost felt like Irish music to me. It really worked, especially in the deep emotional scenes, the dark brooding scenes. There is a score in this that just absolutely works. I don't know who scored this movie, but they did a great job choosing the score. The contemporary, updated, upbeat music worked for me at times. You heard some of that music, Charlie XCX, in the trailer. It was played in this, and it does a great job just complementing the mood and tone of this movie. And it's obvious, you saw it in the trailer and my trailer reaction. This movie is very passionate. There are tons and tons and tons of sex scenes. So if you're into sex scenes in movies, this is the movie for you. You have these two beautiful actors on screen. You're not turning away from what's going on the screen. Hey, I didn't mind all of that. Okay, now I'm going to get into what didn't work for me, what was nope in the movie. And unfortunately, the one thing that I needed it to do, as I mentioned earlier on in the review, is that there was this emotional connection between the younger actors of Heathcliff and Catherine that was so well done. The kids acted so well. Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, as I mentioned, acted their butts off. There was passion, there was love, there was lust, there was intensity. It was ferocious. There was love making, everything that you want to see from a movie like this. But for some reason, there just wasn't that connection that made you feel the emotion that you needed to feel for these characters by the end of this movie. Now, there's a lot of people around me that were crying. I wasn't one of them. And I was like, what am I missing here? It was the emotional connection. They did a good job being passionate, being all in for each other, but there was something about the middle of the movie that drug out a little bit. The pacing of this movie is very slow. The movie is very long, but I think what it is for me, as I alluded to it a little bit earlier, is when Jake Elordi leaves to become someone else, someone a little bit different. You don't get to see what happens, why he became who he was. And there's a turn in this movie, 3/4 of the way near the end of the movie, where his character just turns. Again, I'm not going into spoilers, but it's just such a change in character that maybe if there was a little bit more context, maybe there was a little bit more shown of what happened to him, how he became who he became, and shown maybe that 5-year time span that was missing between the two, showed why he was so frustrated, why he was so passionate, why he would do the things he does in this movie that I wasn't expecting. Just like Saltburn, there are things that you are not expecting, that you are not ready for. Saltburn, a little bit more crazy. That was something completely outrageous. This, tonally, very similar, not as crazy, but there's something that happens in this. I could say a little bit, and you'll know if you've seen this movie, where there's a dog, or somewhat of a dog. You're going to know what I'm talking about. It just, the tone shifted, the character seemed out of place, and I just immediately just felt disconnected from the character. And from that point on, I lost the connection between the two. Yes, there was physical connection. Yes, there was lust, there was passion, but there has to be this emotional connection that the kids did so well at the beginning of the movie that was no longer there for me at the end of the movie. So that was a little bit disappointing, but that was the biggest nope I have for this movie, is that exact connection. And for these two great actors to do such a great job in their individual roles, to not be able to connect emotionally was super, super frustrating for me. And Emerald Fennell did a great job directing them. I just think they could have done a better job making them connect. Oh, I'm so frustrated about that. As I mentioned, the pacing of this movie was a little bit slow, especially at the middle of the movie. I felt like the movie could have been cut down way shorter. This movie runs about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It honestly felt longer. The middle part of this movie, where Jacob Elordi's character was pretty much missing for a good part of the movie, and you just saw Margot Robbie's character interact with some of the new characters, the rich, some of the other characters in this movie, was just it just drug out. It just drug out a little bit too long. There was definitely shifts in tone from funny, which I love, to serious, to really crazy, to just unbelievable, wild spectacle. This really felt like it started off like a traditional love story, which, again, you don't want to do everything the same, everything traditional, but it felt like a really strong love story. But man, I just wanted it to connect, but it didn't. So for me, even though there's great acting, great cinematography, great visuals, great soundtrack, the one thing you had to have is the emotional connection between the two, because without that connection, it's just kind of like having sex. which again, that's pretty good, but not for a movie where you have a great introduction to the characters as children, and in the end, they try to round it out and make you feel something. For a lot of people in the audience, they felt it. I'm not one that felt it, so unfortunately, it's going to be a note for me. I did the trailer reaction and thought this movie was going to be dope. The trailer was amazing. The soundtrack in that was amazing. I felt like, hey, I got two actors that I love, and they did do a great job individually in this movie. But the trailer sold me that this was going to be a love story that was passionate, that was sexual, that was intense. It was. But I also thought, man, I'm going to feel something at the end of this movie. I'm going to feel that connection. But after watching the movie, I didn't feel it. And without that connection, it just left me feeling a little bit flat and making me feel like, what did I just watch? Especially when second half of this movie, it got weird. Super weird. Characters sort of changed. Motivations felt different, but it just got super weird. And I was disconnected. And when I'm disconnected, unfortunately, it's going to be a note for me. So sorry to all the Wuthering Heights fans that were hoping for me to say dope and hope that it would be a great adaptation of the book or the movies that they love. But unfortunately, it wasn't for me. I hope it was for you. If it was, and if you've seen the movie, type dope in the comments. And I hope it was great for you. But for me, I felt it could have been better. So thanks for joining me today. Again, if you're new to the channel, check out my other reactions and reviews. Again, I do trailer reactions to see if I think the movie's going to be nope or dope. Then I'm going to do the out of the theater right before the movie comes out to the public reviews like I'm doing right now to let you know if it compares to my trailer reaction. And this one, it didn't. This is a nope. My trailer reaction was a dope. So next time, come check me out again. Subscribe now so you don't miss any of my reactions or reviews, and I'll check you out later. Peace.